Max in Xenoverse 2, I feel, is one of the more interesting topics that we've had in a very, very long time when it comes to a character in this game. Because there's never really been a villain, a main villain from an arc or a movie that we hadn't gotten in a DLC pack. And at the same time, though, we've also never gotten a giant character playable in a DLC pack or in the base game for that matter. So it really puts Max in a very odd place, considering this is the main villain of Dragon Ball Super Superhero. And obviously the next DLC is the finale of the set for Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Which brings me to my point of this video right here, guys, and that is to talk about this character and why I'm starting to feel more and more like he actually has a chance of being in this DLC pack. Now, I already made a video talking about how this DLC definitely confirmed that we will at least be getting 3 characters and potentially 4 at the same time. And that was in that video where I talked about the price differences between these DLC packs, guys. DLC 15 was priced at $7.99 and did give us 3 brand new characters. DLC 16 at minimal will be priced at $10.99, and it has to at least bring us 3 characters, if not 4, considering that this DLC does cost overall more money. That just makes sense in a lot of people's head. The more money you spend, the more content you get, right? So if we're getting 3 to 4 characters in DLC 16, we already know about 2 of them. That's Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo. Those characters, I mean, without them even being confirmed, even though Orange Piccolo has been, without Beast Gohan being confirmed, though, we know this character is going to be in this DLC pack, right? So who would those other 1 or 2 characters be? And in previous videos, I've talked about who I think they could be, not mentioning Max due to the fact that he was a giant character. And there are 4 characters overall that I mentioned for these potential slot or slots in DLC 16. First would be, well, potential Unleash Piccolo, or whatever the hell you want to call that version of Piccolo in the movie where he first transforms and gets that little power boost in his fight up against Gamma 2. That version of Piccolo I thought definitely could be a character in the pack, considering 1, we had not seen him up until this point in time, 2, we did get another version of base Gohan in DLC 15, and then 3, it's not like we haven't had a DLC where 2 characters in different forms, or 2 versions of the same character just in different forms, weren't in it. Because I mean, look back at DLC 9. We literally had God Vegeta and Blue Evolution Vegeta. So in my mind, I was thinking that it was definitely a possibility to see both of these Piccolos in one DLC pack, and it still very well could be. But at the same time, when I did those videos about the skills for these characters on Xenoverse 2, and mainly when I went over to the Piccolo side and made that video saying how this is bad for DLC 16, because there's really not much stuff to work with when it comes to these characters, and Piccolo in particularly. Because between the whole movie, Piccolo only really did one thing that I could see as an actual skill for Orange Piccolo, let alone a potential Unleashed Piccolo being added at the same time. And the skill I'm talking about, guys, is when he gathers those rocks and throws them at Gamma 2. Some kind of telekinesis move or something along those lines, but that is something that they could turn into a move in Xenoverse 2. Now, yes, this was done by potential Unleashed Piccolo, but at the same time, if they don't give that to Orange Piccolo, well, that's just one less skill they have for that character, and there's already such little stuff to work with that I feel like it would be hard to actually implement 2 versions of Piccolo into this DLC, unless the potential Unleashed version of Piccolo is literally exactly like how Gohan was in DLC 15 in terms of all of his skills are not new, but they are just reworked in some kind of way to where they seem, I guess, quote unquote, a little bit new, just like how base Gohan was in DLC 15. Like, that is the only way that I could see this character actually being added in. So if he was added in, that would take up that potential 3rd slot, right? But what about that 4th slot? Because this is really where it starts to get like, damn, who the hell could this character be? And even with potential Unleashed Piccolo in the 3rd slot, that one's a bit dicey because, like I said, there's really not much stuff they have to work with to make 2 characters from the movie out of Piccolo. But let's just say he does get that 3rd slot, and this now brings us to the 4th slot. Who could this character be? My 3 ideas are Pan, Majin 21, just due to the fact that Android 21 became canon, or the human version of Android 21 at least became canon within this movie. And then also Broly, because he is in the movie, even though he doesn't fight, he still has an appearance in his base form. So I think a base form or an Ikari form Broly would have been cool to see at the same time. Those were only 3 characters that I could really think of that would make sense in any way, shape, or form. Now, when we talk about Pan, When I went back to watch the movie and truly see if there were anything that they could add in for Pan as an actual skill, maybe some kind of punches she does or something like that, really could not figure out anything that they would add in for this character. And then the more I thought about her, honestly guys, we haven't even seen her use a ki blast in any way, shape, or form. Like, the only thing we've seen this character do that could get her in the game is fly. We haven't seen her do any kind of moves or any kind of ki related stuff at all, though, at the same time. So would a character like that really be a wise choice for a DLC pack? Because this would be another character that you just got to make up a bunch of skills for? Not really. Then you talk about Majin 21. Only reason Majin 21 would have any chance, like I said before, is because Android 21's human side was actually proved to be canon in the movie. But we still don't have Android 21 canon in the actual movie or show, so bringing in Majin 21 off of that would be kind of far out there, but at the same time I do think it is something that is possible, but still another character that really isn't the most likely, I would say. And then we get to Broly. Broly, I feel out of these three probably would have the best chance because he is a character we've seen with different skills and things like that, and it's understandable that they could make up some more skills from the actual Broly movie for this character in an Ikari / base form. So he would probably make the most sense out of all of them from that perspective, but at the same time he really doesn't do much in the movie as well. So those three characters, while they all kind of make sense in their own ways, they're nothing like a Cell Max or anything like that for a DLC pack like this one right here. Because again, this is a DLC based off of the movie. So to exclude the main villain from the movie alone would be crazy. But then when you look at the other characters and the potential characters for this pack, it really gets to the point where you're like, damn, if they don't add in Cell Max, they will be doing a lot of reworking in terms of skills that are already in the game, because the characters that I talked about in terms of Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo, they already don't have the most source material in the world to work with from this movie, so they already got to either make up some stuff or rework some skills for those characters. Then you talk about a potential Unleashed Piccolo. Well, the only thing that he really does new in the movie, I would imagine they're already going to give to Orange Piccolo in this DLC pack. So while he's still possible and he could possibly be made like base Gohan, would that really be another good choice for a DLC character on Dimps' part? I really don't think so. And then again, those other three, while they all make sense in their own way, they still wouldn't fit the pack nearly as good as a Cell Max, and not just from the perspective of Cell Max is the main villain of the movie. Cell Max would actually have some things that he could do in terms of skills that could be applied not only to him, but our CACs. Just two right off the bat, off of my memory, without even going to rewatch the movie. These are just two that I'm thinking of right now. The one move that he throws at Gohan when Gohan throws out the Special Beast Cannon, that move right there could definitely be made into a skill. And then I believe he also does some skill where he like kind of explodes, I guess, in a sense, where a bunch of ki blasts go out from his body in all different kinds of ways, and it's kind of like an uncontrollable rage in a sense with these ki blasts. They're literally just coming out from his body, going everywhere. That is something else off the top of my head that they could make into a skill for this character and for our CACs. And those are just two skills off of the top of my head. Like I said, I hadn't gone back and watched the actual movie. So from this perspective, Cell Max, in my opinion, makes more sense than those other characters. The only issue with Cell Max over those other characters is the simple fact that he is a giant form. Now, it's very possible for them to shrink him down to size, maybe make him as big as like a corrupted Zamasu in the villain raids, that, or not in the villain raids, in the crystal raids that we have on Xenoverse 2, because while we never did get corrupted Zamasu as a playable character, they did eventually add him in to the crystal raids to where he is actually playable. So it's not like it's impossible for them to make a giant character or a bigger character playable for us in this game. It would just be nice to finally see one playable in an online setting and in all other modes besides crystal raid. So for all these reasons, guys, I do feel like Cell Max has some kind of chance of being in this pack. The main reason that I feel gives him the best chance is due to the fact that he is the main villain, and in terms of other characters for this DLC, not a lot really makes sense, and then the ones that do make sense would be truly tough to make into DLC characters based off of the lack of source material that we have for these characters. So again, man, let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comments. What do you think about the possibility of seeing a Cell Max in DLC 16 in terms of a playable character? Do you think they would shrink him down, make him a bit smaller, make him similar size to like corrupted Zamasu? What do you guys think would happen or would need to happen to make this character playable in DLC pack 16? And would you like to see that at the same time? Because again, we've never really had a villain or anything like that, a main villain that has not been playable in this game. So let me know what you guys think about all this down below in the comments. But as always, man, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time, hope you have a good one. Peace, y'all.